Hello everybody, my name is Dratnos, and welcome to my Mythic Rasha'nan guide. Sorry this is a little bit late. I'll have guides for the next 3 bosses as well, coming out over the next couple of days too, plus a gearing guide as well for this patch, so all of that coming soon. This boss doesn't change too much from the lower difficulties. One of the big changes is the tempo of mechanics, and then the most difficult to understand change is what's happened with the webs. So I'm gonna talk about that real quick here. Let me show you that mechanic again, and that's basically the only real change on Mythic is the way that the webs mechanic works. So the way it works is 4 people get targeted by the webs, these strands, right? And then they will go and drop them outside of the raid, ideally, right? And it will web them and also anybody else that gets stuck in there. So you really do want to get this out of the raid. It will web them to the middle of their circle. Now, when they actually go out and break it, it will do a spike of raid damage. As you can see, a little bit of raid damage from that. And the first time somebody does that on each of these sets, it will then tether all of them together. And 4 seconds later, anybody in that like square, anybody that is between any of those two, basically, or those 4, will get killed. So that is the Mythic mechanic on this. It's pretty hard to understand. The dungeon journal, it takes a little bit of, even with some good reading comprehension, there's a bunch of different things that the wording could mean. But yeah, you can see these people are all kind of linked together, and they just want to play nice back and safe away from this person almost got killed, but was barely outside the back of that death square. And as long as you do that with that mechanic, so basically you just always want to take it out, ideally in the same direction, and then you break them, and those 4 people just form a nice little pixel stack on each other, because they'll never kill each other. They'll only kill people that aren't in that tether group, that are in between them. Then, of course, you have the 3 directions instead of the 2 on the waves. The tank mechanic will basically always cast back-to-back on Mythic as well. So you just want to taunt during the first cast if you're not the target of the first cast, and then the second cast will go on you. And then the boss moves to different positions, and it moves really far every time it does this. Now, on this first move, it can go either to the left or the right, so you can't necessarily preset a gateway unless you have 2 warlocks, but you need to get there in time. So this is movement abilities. This is Wind Rush, Stampeding Roar, those sorts of effects, because you all, or almost all, need to get in that big soak. If you have too few people in it, you'll get gripped off the edge, and that will be very bad. The ads that spawn here do need to get killed as well. So if they live for too long, they'll actually kill people. They stack up damage taken increases on their targets, which can be your tanks as well. So you do want to make sure you kill them. And I'm handily demonstrating there what happens if you get hit by the frontal, the little swirlies that come out of the boss. It does stun you until people kill your webbing. So that's bad as well. But you can see here. So here's an overlap, for instance, between the triangle thing, right, and the people breaking their webs and making a death square. Very easy to get deaths on this type of overlap. So these 4 people need to all get nice and close together with each other, and then the triangle people need to get nice and far out. If you had a triangle person that was just trying to play it here, these people would be tethered together. They'd be forced to like run up into the raid, for instance, and then people would die because they'd be between them when this debuff expires, and that kills people. So the big rule here is get out far if you're one of the 3 people that have the green line, and then the 4 people that get the webs, they need to tight stack. And as long as you do that, there's not too much else to it. And then this fight, you can 5 heal it. If you 5 heal it, you should still have the damage as long as you get to the end of the fight. It does like a little enrage cast thing at the end, but we don't see that in this particular video, but that's how the fight does end. You can heal that for quite a while, especially if you have 5 healers. So I would recommend 5 healing this for your progression kill, probably. We're 5 healing it now just because we had healers that needed boxes. It definitely is 4 healable. You can do either one, but I'd recommend 5. So once you move to the second position here, you now have this nasty overlap where it's waves into webs, and this is what happens if the webs look a little bad. We had webs kind of getting spread into people there that were getting hit by extra ones. So look, we have just like extra people being targeted by that line, and then extra people that were therefore in the cutters, and extra people dying as a result. So that is very bad. That's why you need to get these things out and far back. And you can do it in the old areas where there used to be ones. This is what happens if everybody gets hit by a frontal because they're all trying to dodge stuff. A bunch of extra webbings. Kill those if that happens. Again, we're showcasing in this video a lot of ways to not do the mechanics for the purposes of education. Normally we wouldn't do these things, but for this video we wanted to show you what it looks like if you get hit by those mechanics. Then you get to this next one, and this, I think, always goes over to this side now, like over to the opposite side from the first movement is where it goes on the third movement. I'm not 100% sure on that, though. So you can potentially have a preset gateway for that one. And then the next position it would go to would be just kind of near the start, but over on the left with this kind of configuration. You don't really need to like memorize where it'll go or anything like that, though. Just, you know, hit a Stampeding Roar, hit a Wind Rush and run. Call for a rescue on your slow pokes if you have, you know, DKs or whatever that are going to be slow. And this part of the fight, this 340-ish part of the fight, there's quite a bit of raid damage. So it's a good time to... This spot and the previous spot were good spots to use defensives or raid CDs to try and live. All of this kind of hectic damage that's happening. You can always dodge into the webs. The webs do less damage than the acid puddles if you need to dodge into something, but try not to have to dodge into either, of course. And yeah, the tank mechanic, if you ever get a lot of stacks on the same person, it's not actually that lethal as long as the healers are looking out for it. One thing your healers do need to look out for is your tanks with the debuff on the run here. If you still have some stacks of that tank debuff on the run here, you can die because a lot of tanks only heal when they're hitting stuff. Or only have defensives when they're hitting stuff, so you may need to call for your healers to watch your tanks as you do those moves. And then other than that, you just get to this part. Once you get to this part, it kind of feels like the tempo slows down. I don't think you get webs for quite a while once you get to this jump, so it's just adds and then run out. And yeah, again, the boss is like always casting something, but a lot of these casts aren't actually important ones, you know? They're just like some raid damage and that kind of stuff. Some frontals to dodge, and that's it. That's Mythic Rasha'nan. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Good luck in getting your very rare cloak from this boss. I guess I'll show you the final few mechanics here, and I think once it moves to this next position is when it would be the Enrage, I think. Not 100% sure. I don't know. Either way, if it does get to the Enrage, it's just like a ramping damage cast. Oh, also just always make sure you kick the boss on that acidic eruption. You should try and kick it late so that people can run and get there, but you do need to kick it. Otherwise, the boss will basically... I think it goes immune to damage until you can kick it the next time, and then you also just take more damage. So definitely never let that cast go off. Anyways, that's it for Mythic Rasha'nan. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.